Hello and welcome to Class Time CSEC Math. For the past few days, we've been digging deep into the field of consumer arithmetic.
Today is our final lesson in the series, and we'll be capping off the topic with a look at salary, wages, and utilities. I'm Shadeen Cassie.
And I'm Denise Bailey. Let's begin. The objective, as you have said before, Shadeen, is that we'll be solving problems involving utilities, invoices and shopping bills, salaries and wages. And before we go into the lesson, I want to share some vocabulary words.
Some words that will be coming up regularly in our discussion, in our lesson. These words are consumer arithmetic, salary, utilities, invoices, shopping bills, and wages.
Yes.
So as we move along into the lesson, then the definitions will come out.
Good. And I would want for you at home to, for some, make your jottings, take your notes. Okay? So let us know. Oh my gosh, I look at this, salaries and wages.
And you are thinking about payday.
Look here now,
right?
Man. Yes, we're in the 10th. We are in the between.
In the between.
Oh my word.
Yes. So salary is paid weekly
or fortnightly
or monthly.
Yes.
Right? So most times on the month end it is anywhere from the 25th up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But remember, there are some persons who they don't have a set salary. They don't have a set time when they get paid. They get paid depending on how they work or the services that they provide.
And we say that these persons will get a wage.
Okay, so salaries and wages, there's a difference.
Yes, the similarity is that they are both payment offer for goods or services. Yes,
fair enough.
The difference is the time that they would have.
Bound. Yeah. Okay, and let's see. So just to clarify what you've said, a salary is fixed amount payable at regular intervals and can be, as we said before, it can be weekly, it can be monthly, and oftentimes it's straight into the employee's bank account or by the use of a check, as opposed to
wages are hourly or daily payments for work carried out during the working day.
Okay, so what do we use the salary and the wages to do? We work, we get our money to do what with it?
Our personal stuff. But before we go into what we do
with it,
yes, we need to know how to calculate our salary, how to calculate the wage, or we have to be able to calculate.
Fair enough, because we have to know how we spend our money so that we can be what we call frugal, so that we can do what we need to do and
we budget effectively and not go into a deficit.
All right. I don't like that word deficit. Okay, so salary calculations.
All right.
Yes.
So here we have on the board our gross annual salary is equal to the gross monthly salary multiplied by 12.
Question, you said gross. What does that mean?
The gross is the total. The sum without your deductions, without your insurance being taken out, without your savings. That's all that you would have been paid for the period.
Okay. So I need to remember that I can have a gross annual salary. That is everything that I get before deductions. Okay. And gross monthly.
Annual.
So, but that's gross annually. That's for the year.
For the year.
And I can also have a gross monthly. So I get a set amount per month
without
before the deductions, the taxes. Okay, fair. I'm there with you. Okay.
So here we have a gross monthly salary, and this is equal to the gross annual salary divided by 12.
So if annually I get $12 for the year, of course you're not going to get that, but you understand. To know how much I would get per month, I divide by the 12, which represents 12 months.
In other words, you can be told by your employer that your gross salary annual salary is X amount. So if you want to do a breakdown, then you
would have to do the calculations.
You have to do the calculations,
that is
right?
true.
Or some employers might tell you that your gross monthly salary is whatever, and if you want to find out the yearly or the annual amount, then you multiply by 12.
Fair enough. And you know, there are moments when persons will hear a sum and it sounds a much, a lot,
but we need to
but
take
when
note.
You do the operations, you see that, oh my.
Is it monthly or annual?
Oh, that's another thing. Okay, so now we have net annual salary. Net, what?
Net is where your deductions would have been taken out.
Okay, so my insurance, all of the savings.
If you have loans.
Right.
All of those, your tax, your income tax, education tax, all of those will be taken out, and then you're left with a net salary.
Okay. And that net annual salary would have to be
multiply the monthly, the net monthly by 12 in order to get the net annual salary.
Okay, fair enough. And then
if there is a net annual salary, then there is also a net monthly salary.
Which is right.
Yes.
Which is right.
So your net monthly salary would be the gross monthly salary subtracting the monthly deductions.
And can I tell you, Cassie, that this is what we're mostly preoccupied with, because that tells me my spending power. If I have the money to do what I need to do for the month, as I try to take care of my family and for my basic needs as well.
And live within your budget. And live within your budget.
What you say? Live within my budget. And my budget is dependent on my
net monthly. Yes.
And gross too. Because if I take in too much out, it impacts what I get.
Right.
Okay. So let us look at a question.
Now, we are given sample questions to see how we can apply this information that we would have gotten to mathematics.
Yes, real world.
Yes.
Okay.
The gross annual salary earned by a civil servant is $1.6 million. Determine the net monthly salary if he has monthly deductions of $24,000.
Okay, so we'll go into that.
That's one question.
And the second one is the gross monthly salary of a permanent secretary is $462,754. Find the net annual salary if deductions of $157,649 were made monthly.
Yes.
All right, numbers to work with. Good. So let's look at the first one.
All right. So we are doing a breakdown of the first question. So we need to take out the information that is given. We are using a problem-solving approach.
Fair enough.
So we reread, understand what the problem is saying, take out the key information before solving, and we can move to the final stage of checking to see whether or not our answer is correct.
Okay.
Good.
When I look at this, I see annual, gross annual. So that's the total, which for me is the 1.6 million.
For the year.
The
yearly amount.
Okay. But from this, I'm to determine what he gets monthly.
The net.
That is what again?
That is after your deductions would have been taken out.
And how much is to be taken out here?
$24,000, and that's monthly.
Okay. Are you seeing a strategy here? Look at it. We know the total. We know the gross annual salary, which is 1.6 million. We are to find out how much is take-home pay. That is before the deductions of $24,000 is taken. Okay, so let us go to the net monthly salary would be the gross annual divided by 12. And we would have identified the gross annual to be
$1.6 million.
$1.6 million.
Yes.
Okay, divided by 12. Okay.
So monthly, you would be getting $133,333, cents.
Yes.
The cents is important.
Yes, because every nickel make a buckle.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
And I want us to appreciate too that even in the stem of the question we said 1.6 million, 1,600,000 is the same as 1.6 million.
So this is just step one in determining the answer to the question that is being asked.
That's true.
So this 133,333 and 33 cents is really the gross monthly.
That's true. Because the deductions have not yet been taken.
No.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
okay.
if we have a gross monthly, we need to find the net monthly salary, right?
True.
So what we're going to be doing is to be taking out the deductions.
Okay, so from the 133,333,
we are going
33 cents. We subtract, we take 24,000.
Yes.
And when that operation is done, that would be
109,333 and 33 cents.
So this would be the civil servants' take-home pay.
Right.
This is what they'll be able to use to service whatever, to provide whatever provide for the needs.
Right.
Okay.
For the month.
For the month.
So this is what will be deposited in the person's account.
Okay.
109,333
cents.
Right. So this is our net monthly salary.
Okay.
Yes.
I get you. Okay, so for the next question now, we have the information here, but it is just a little different because we're not dealing with the gross annual, we are here dealing with the monthly. Right. So this is what the permanent secretary takes home before the deduction.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know what is their gross net, find the net annual salary. Okay. All right.
So we have the gross monthly, and we need to find the net annual salary. We also are given the amount for deductions.
Yes.
Right. And then we must highlight that there are many ways to solving this problem.
That is true.
True. So you could choose to go ahead and find the gross annual, seeing that you're given the gross monthly.
Yes, and to find the gross annual, we do just a multiplication
by 12, right?
Yes.
And then you could multiply the deductions by 12 to find out the annual deduction as well, and then do the subtraction there. Or you could take another approach.
Yes.
Do your deductions first from the monthly, and then you multiply to get the annual. So your solution pathway will depend more on how you feel comfortable, your interpretation, which you want to do first.
What I want us at home to appreciate that even though we're doing math, even though we are preparing for examinations, this consumer arithmetic is helping to prepare you for the world of work when you go out there so that you can be better money managers.
Right? Because whichever way we take it, each of us are a consumer.
Yes.
All of us are. Yes.
Okay. So let us get into the business of this permanent secretary now.
All right. So his annual we're trying to find the net annual salary.
Yes.
So in order to do that, we do a subtraction, take out the monthly deductions from the gross monthly salary, and then multiply that by 12.
And I hope you can understand and appreciate this pathway, this solution set.
Yeah.
Good. And of course, we have identified from the stem what the gross monthly would have been, which is $462,754. And from that, we take the deductions, the monthly deductions, which would be $157,649. And when we would have done that subtraction, whatever is the difference, we multiply that by the 12 in order to get the net annual salary. And please remind me, when you say the net annual salary, what that mean again?
The total amount you will be getting for 1 year with all your deductions being taken out.
Okay, good. So I know that I have $3,661,260 to work with before deductions.
So it sounds like a lot of money, but it's all for the year.
It's for 1 year. Okay, so let us go. Okay.
Yes.
So we've looked at basic calculations for our salaries, the deductions. We've looked at that. And so my question to you is, on what do we use our salaries and wages after they've taken out our deductions? What we use that money to do?
All right. We use that money to supply our needs. We use that money to take care of our expenses for the month.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
If we are being paid monthly or if you get a wage, then
yes,
this is what you use it for.
Okay, okay.
These include our utility bills, right?
Yes.
Or shopping bills.
Yes. Caring for the children.
Caring for the children.
Caring for yourselves. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And most importantly, caring for ourselves to earn the other.
That is right. To go back to work for the next month in order to. Fair enough. So you made mention of utilities, and here we have a nice little definition, kind of making a comfortable generalization about this term, this concept, utilities. And it is a product, something that you buy, or a service you go to have an activity done for you that satisfies human wants and is useful in the home. And when we think about that,
business places.
Or business places.
Yes.
And what are some of the examples? Just a quick glance. What are some of the utilities that we have to service? What are some of the things that we have to...
Or light bill. Let us start with that one. Or light bill, water bill.
Essential.
Telephone bill,
essential.
Internet, cable.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Internet and cable, those have become quite important for us now because we are living in this time that causes us to be online more often. So some of the examples, as you would have highlighted, we have our telephone bill, our light bill, water, internet/cable bill. Okay, so we're going to continue. So what we're going to do is to do some work with calculations for these, right?
We need to know how to calculate these bills, right? So we are going to go into understanding how to go ahead and calculate our bill. Okay. So here on the screen we have a sample telephone bill, right? And I want to highlight some of the important aspects or features of this bill. So we look at it, there is a landline charge, there's a broadband charge, internet service, account charges, there's also the tax, the discount if there is any, right? Then we get a total, and if you have outstanding amounts, right? Sometimes it's a balance brought forward, sometimes it's money that you would have overpaid them and they're actually adding it back to your now bill. So we need to examine our bills carefully.
And whatever is presented there, as consumers, we have to ensure that we know what is there and understand why it is there.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. So let's go into some working. Here we have a question, our first question that has to do with the telephone bill. And for this person, they've spent how much time, Nats? 93 hours, 1 minute and 31 seconds on the phone for the month. And when we look at the bill, we can see the rental, we can see the number of metered units used, we can see the number of operator-controlled units used, we can see the government tax, in our case it's a GCT, we see the cost of each metered unit and cost per operator-controlled unit, and we can easily see the relationships here.
Right.
When we look at the information, we have to ensure that we understand what it is saying, because if we don't understand what it is saying, then our computation becomes hampered. Right? And from this bill, we are expected now to calculate the cost for the metered units used. We are expected to
Find the cost for the operator control units used.
Yes.
And determine the government tax.
Yes.
And then finally, evaluate the telephone bill payable.
That's payable.
Now,
Okay.
Denise, I want you to see or observe that though finally we want to calculate the telephone bill, they actually gave us a breakdown,
yes.
a build-up to our final solution.
Yes.
Right? Which we can appreciate. Right?
Yes, yes. So, our first question, calculate the cost for the meter units used.
So we need to go back to the table
bill.
or to the bill and identify how many units were being used.
Metered units. When I look at it, I see right here 4,245 units.
Right.
Okay.
And there is a cost per unit.
So I will look for metered unit and not operator controlled unit.
No.
Because the costing for both, they are different.
Yes.
Okay, I see that the costing for the meter unit, that's $14 per metered unit.
Used,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
So if we can go back to linking to ratio to say if one unit costs $14,
what
then
would
2 units will cost.
True,
or if
true.
you want to make a big jump
Yes,
to
ma'am, big jump.
4,245, then we can use that principle to find out the cost of the meter units used.
And that brings to my mind the idea that you have multiple pathways
Yes.
for problem solving.
Right.
It is how comfortable, the question is how comfortable are you when you're problem solving, and are you comfortable with the strategy that you're choosing?
Right.
So based on the conversation, I hope you would have seen another strategy, another way for problem solving.
Right.
Okay.
So the cost for the metered units used is first, we're just going to be doing a breakdown. So we need to identify the meter units used, which is 4,245.
Good.
The cost per unit, which is $14.
Good.
And then we need to find the total cost, which would be 4,245 multiplied by $14.
Okay, good.
And that will give us a total.
A grand total of wow. Whew. Wow.
$59,430.
Yes, and that is just for the metered
Units used.
Okay, so let us go to, this is simple, we can appreciate this. Let us go to the part B of the question. Now we have found out the cost for the metered units used. Now we are to find out the operator controlled units. It's a similar approach that we could take for problem solving. It is similar. Looking at it, of course, we identify the operator controlled units. We can go look at the bill again.
Take the information from the table.
Yes, which would be 543 for the number of operator controlled units used. Okay.
Right. And then the cost per operator control units used is $18. And use the same approach to multiply. 543 multiplied by $18 will give us a grand total of $9,774.
Okay. We can appreciate that. We can appreciate that. So let us continue. Now we're hurrying along because we have to now understand about the government tax. And we looked that it's 15%
of the total.
Okay, I was going to ask you 15% of what?
15% of the total cost that we would have accumulated already.
Yes.
So it includes the monthly rental, which is $36.
Okay.
The total cost for the metered units used, as well as the total cost for the operator controlled units used. So we're going to find a sum, and then we find 15% of the total. Sum.
Okay. All right. And here is just putting in words for us what we have. Now we're going to a break. It is time for our usual break. This is class time, CSEC Math. Look here, when you're doing this thing, it takes you there. It is class time, CSEC Math. More after this.
Joining us, this is CSEC Math, and we've been discussing consumer arithmetic. Let's continue.
Good. So before the break, we were looking at determining the government tax.
Yes.
And based on what you have said, we would have to find out the total. We found a sum, of course, and then found 15% of that.
Yes.
What does that look like? In summary, this is what it looks like. We would have to find 15% of the total cost for rental and units used, as you would have said before.
Right.
We have already found the total cost for meter units used, the total cost for operator control units used, and we have
a monthly rental fee
yes.
of $36 that we
Okay.
must include. Right. So here it is 15% of 69,240. Yeah.
69,240. Okay. And that would be a total of
$10,386.
So that is the tax that's payable.
Right.
Okay. Now we are now to go to the final stage, because this is where we are most concerned. We want to know the total bill that is to be paid.
Right. So we are going to be putting all the information we would have gathered together in order to come up with a final bill. So we are going to be adding the meter used amount to the control operator units used, to the monthly rental bill, as well as the tax.
That's right.
And then we get a final bill.
Okay, now let us see what that bill looks like. After we've evaluated the bill, that's all you have said. And there's a grand total for this person of $79,626. Now imagine if your net income, monthly income, is $109,333.33, and from that you are to take the $79,626.
Yes.
Wow.
And we are going to be taking our light bill as well as our water bill from what is left. Yes.
Word. Okay. And so we have not paid all our bills. Here we have the light bill.
Yes. So as I've said before, we need to examine our bill carefully to see the information that our bill gives us. So if we look carefully, we see our previous balance there. We see the amount that you paid previously. If there are any adjustments, if there's a balance brought forward. But we're just going to skip to the
current reading and previous reading.
Right. To say that there is a current reading and there is actually a previous reading, which will give us the amount of units we would have used over the period.
Okay.
Right? We'll carry out the operation to see how much we would have used, how many units we would have used over the period.
And it is already calculated on this bill for you, because this person is expected to now pay $6,972.28 for their light bill or the electricity bill.
We must highlight too that it includes the tax would be added there if there are tax to be paid, as well as a fuel charge or other charges that comprise the bill.
Okay, so let's go straight into our question on the electricity bill. Now here we have Mrs. Clark, and on this table we see the number of units that Mrs. Clark has used in the peak hours and in the off-peak hours. We also see the cost per peak unit, right? And we are making the assumption that there is a fixed charge of $31.50, that off-peak units are sold at half price.
Right. So
half price.
So if you're using your electricity during the off-peak hours, then you will pay half price, and the half price would be a half of $31.50.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
So for the peak hours, it's the full price, which is $31.
But just quickly before, when you talk about peak and off-peak,
There are some times when
you
there
actually
is,
have to pay more because
right,
there's a
more usage.
Okay,
Yeah.
energy consumption.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into solving. How many units of electricity would a 75-watt bulb use in 12 hours?
Right. So if you have more than one bulbs, then you can do the calculations.
All
If you
right.
just have one bulb, we're going to find out if you leave that bulb on for
12
hours.
straight hours, how much you'd have to pay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. So I can monitor my electricity usage with math counts. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, we'll calculate the quarterly electricity bill for the above household. That's Mrs. Clark's household.
Right.
So let's go into A.
So, in order to find how much or how many units of electricity would have been used by the 75-watt bulb, then we need to find the power rating, which would be the 75 watts,
Yes.
and we're going to multiply that by the number of hours we used it for.
And this is basic mathematics.
Right.
It takes us to 900 kilowatt per hour. That is what you would have, the energy that would have been used
For
by that
this.
one bulb for the 12 hours.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and now we go to part B of the question, which asks us to calculate the quarterly electricity bill for Mrs. Clark's household.
Right. So the fixed charge is there of $31, and her household, if you notice, there is two usage there. One for the peak hour
And one for the off-peak.
hour. So we need to do those two calculations to find out the total charge for the peak hour, the
And
charge, yes,
for the off-peak.
and then,
Okay, I understand.
right.
Yes. So for the peak hour charges, I can see there that is basic, because based on what the table has, the information the table has given to us, we see that cost per peak unit would be
Yes.
$12, and we have 576 units being used during that time, which gives us a peak charge of $6,912.
Right.
Okay. And you said we'd have to go to the off-peak.
Right. But
Okay, good.
the STEM gave us the information that off-peak is sold at half price.
Okay.
So if the peak is for $12, then the half peak would be for $6.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And we can do all the calculation in one step. So it would be a half of 12 multiplied by 1,420, which will give us a basic, the total or the product of
8,520. And I can see from this I can estimate how much it would have been, because I can see the fixed charges, I can also see the peak charges, and I can see the off-peak charges, and I have an idea
Yes.
of how much it would cost.
The total bill would be.
Okay,
So
and so the total electricity bill, it's the fixed charges of $31.50 added to the peak charge of $6,912 added to the off-peak charges of $8,520. Therefore, the electricity bill for Mrs. Clark for this time specified would be $15,463.50.
Yeah.
Okay, electricity bill not too bad.
Not as bad as
the telephone
bill.
My word.
Yes. And with the electricity bill and the telephone bill, then we also need to calculate the water bill. And for the water bill, it is similar to the two bills that we would have previously explored. The information is similar that's given. The arrangement might be different, but it's basically the same information. If you look closely, there is the current reading and there is the previous reading. And you can use that to calculate the current consumption.
Yes.
Right. And the tax is included as well as other charges to come up with the final bill.
Yes, yes. So let us do some calculations. Here we have a factory, a sweet factory to be specific, that uses 3,285 cubic meters of water for the first half of the year in 2015. water rate for commercial users for half of the year were as follows. So we have the information captured here. For the first 20 cubic meters, it was $12.50.
Right.
For the next 60 cubic meters, it was $10. It cost $10 per cubic unit. And if you went over 80 cubic meters, you paid $7.50 per cubic. Okay.
Right. And then there is a 6% discount on bills that are paid on time.
Yes, so you know that's the incentive. Pay your bill on time
and you
less
get the
6%.
Discount.
Good.
Yes.
Now for this, we are to calculate the amount Mrs. James paid for the quarter year, assuming that the bill was paid on time.
Right.
So the solution set, we just have the information there to remind us of what it is we're working with. Yes. So the total use or usage, 3,285 cubic meters, and for the first 20 cubic meters, remember we were told that it's at a unit price of $12.50. And so when we do the multiplication, $12.50 multiplied by 20, we get $250. Thank you. And then we have for the what?
For the next 60 cubic, so that would be after you would have used 20 cubic meters and you use
an additional
60 cubic meters, you're going to be paying $10 per cubic unit.
Yes.
Right? So it would be $10 times 60 multiplied, $10 multiplied by 60 to give us $600. So we would have taken care of roughly 80 cubic units.
Okay. Cubic meters. Now, if we went over 80. In excess of 80, now we have a reduced rate of $7.50. And so how do we do our calculations
here? Because we would have paid for the first 80 cubic meters. Let's put it that way.
20 and the next
Right, so
60.
we need to take out that amount that we would have paid for and to find out the amount that remains, the amount of cubic meters that remain, to multiply it by the cost of $7.50 per cubic unit for the excess.
So we don't pay twice
for the 80.
Okay, good. And so again, it is a basic calculation. Once we understand the issue, once we understand the understand the problem, we go to our basic calculations.
All right. So
bear those in mind.
As we would have been saying, consumer arithmetic is everyday mathematics. So we can relate to as we move into doing the calculation.
Yes. So what does, we forgot. If we pay the bill on time, we get a 6% discount.
Right. So I'm going to ask you now, where did you get $24,887.50?
I got that because there was a total of, I had the in excess of the 80. Which is $24,037.50. I have my first 20 cubic meters, which is $250. I have my next 60 cubic meters, which would be $600. And so when they're all added together, that's how I would get my $24,800.
So because you are going to be paying your bill on time.
Yes, I am.
Mrs. James paid her bill on time.
Yes.
Then she will be getting a 6% discount. No, we would have been exposed to discount already.
Yes, man.
Discount basic calculation.
Yes.
So the 6% discount will amount to $1,493.25.
Yes.
Right? Now, what do you do with the discount?
Well, I see. If it's my discount, it means that's less. Isn't that so?
Yes.
So from my total that I would have had, because I'm paying early, it would be less, whatever that is, less $1,493.25.
Good.
Okay. So the total amount to be paid, got it, is $23,394.25.
Good. So you would have covered your telephone bill, you would have covered your light bill, and covered your water bill.
Okay, good.
Good.
From my salary or from my wages? Look here. Okay. On what else do we use our salaries and wages?
Well, food is the staff of life, so we must take
food.
care of a shopping bill,
Okay.
right?
Yes, that's true.
We must take care of our shopping bill.
Yes, and some transportation too.
Yes.
We have to. There are other things that we would spend.
And we would want to add recreational activities.
Most definitely.
Yes, but let's hope that the amount of money we get can stretch to include all our desire or basic needs.
That's right. That is right. That is right. Now here we have an invoice and a shopping bill. It says invoice and shopping bill. What is an invoice? And what is a shopping bill? What are those?
All right. Both of them will include a list of items.
Here we go.
Yes.
Yes.
But there is a slight difference to say that while it gives the items as well as the cost for the items, there is also a difference in terms of the invoice comes before the delivery of the goods.
Yes.
And the bill, mark paid, is what you get after you would have purchased, made your purchase and payment.
Which is smart. For my invoice, I want to know how much I actually am able to spend.
Right.
So I can request an invoice, and based on the invoice, I can avoid embarrassment at the
if you cannot afford some of the items, you can do the deduction, take them off, and then
yes,
upon getting what you want or what you can afford, then you will get a bill as soon as you have made your payment.
Which is correct.
Yeah.
And so here is a nice summary. An invoice or a bill is a list of goods sent or services provided with a statement of the sum due for these, right?
For the items.
For the items that are on the bill.
Yes.
Okay, not bad at all. So the first question we have that has to do with the invoices, it's quite simple, and it is that Mr. John bought the following items from Venus store on the 20th of October 2020. And these are he bought 2 lamps, which cost $951 each. He bought a bicycle. He bought 14 liters of petrol. He bought 35 liters of engine oil. And each has their unit price. Yes. So it's a simple task. All we're asked to do is to prepare the bill.
Yes.
Prepare the bill for the above purchases.
Good.
Now we share with you a leaf from the bill book, the invoice.
Yes.
From the invoice book, and this is all we would need to do is what?
Fill in the information that we are given.
Yes. First we had the quantities, we have the particulars, which speaks to the items purchased. We have the rate.
Or it could be unit price.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And then we have the amount. Okay, so we have 2 lamps.
Lamp costs $951.25. Then the cost of 2 lamps would be
okay.
Yeah.
And then we had
1 bicycle, and it's 1 bicycle, so the amount or the cost will remain
the same.
$18,000. And then we have 14 liters petrol, and 1 liter cost
would be
$150.20. And 3.5 liter or 3.5 liter of engine oil, and 1 liter costs $350.
And I hope you would have been able to see solution sets.
Yes.
It's a basic calculations. We have the quantity multiplying the rate in order to get the amount. And when we do, that calculation was already done for you. When we do the calculations, these are what we would have had. As you would have identified before, because we only have 1 bicycle, the cost remains the same.
Yes.
Because the multiplier is 1. Okay.
And then we come up with a final total or a grand total, whichever way the bill or the invoice
would have stated. Yes.
And that would be $23,230.
30 cents.
30 cents.
Okay.
Good.
So this is his invoice. We have prepared the invoice for him. We can deliver the invoice to him, so he has a clearer picture of what was purchased.
Okay. So it's left to him now. If he has that amount of money, then he can come and do the purchase and collect his bill. right? And if he wants to take something off the invoice, then he's free to do so. And at the end of the purchase, he will receive a bill.
And what I love about it is that there's greater accountability, because it helps when I have my invoice, when I have my bill, it helps me to track my spending so that I don't go into a deficit. I don't have to be
your embarrassment. You don't want to leave some things on the counter.
Exactly so.
And you can keep it for future references.
That is true. That is true. Okay, it's time for our final break. When we return, we'll wrap things up. Class time continues after this.
Autism. Difficulty in communicating.
He's high functioning. He's
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Let's pick up where we left off.
Awesome. Now, where we left off would take us straight into a sample CSEC question, because remember, we are indeed preparing for the exams, even though we're preparing for real life.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are doing both at the same time.
Thank you very much.
A question. Charges for electricity in a certain country are made up of a fixed rental of $125 per month and energy charges of $20 per unit. In 1 month, the meter reading moved from 27,231 units and at the beginning to 33,109 units at the end.
That's a jump.
Right.
We are now asked to calculate the energy charge, calculate the total amount on the bill.
Yes.
Okay. So here we have the information. Now our solution set. What's the first one?
So remember that we spoke about the current reading and the previous reading, and we are seeing that this is coming into play with this question that we are working out.
Yes.
Right. So we need to find out the usage for the month.
Yes. And we also have to take into consideration the fixed rental, that's a given. We
and
have
the
to
charge
take
per
into
unit.
Exactly.
Right.
So, and we are asked the number of units used. Remember, you spoke about the current reading and the previous reading. The current reading is 33,106 and the previous reading is $231. We find the units. Thank you. We find the difference. And the difference would be
5,875 units.
Okay, so now we have the information. You think we have all the information we need to work with?
We have all the information that we need to work with. I hope that the brains are calculating already.
Okay.
Seeing that we would have had this information. So using 5,875 units, and the cost per unit is $20, we are already thinking about finding a product right there,
That
or
is
doing
true.
a multiplication.
That is
and
true.
we have to include as well the fixed rental
Which
cost,
would be an addition.
to come up with the final bill.
Okay.
Yes. So it's 5,875, and we're multiplying that by 20. And that's $20 to find out that the total energy charge for the bill is $117,500. And that's a lot.
That is a whole lot.
Yes.
But never mind.
It could be commercial. So
that
it could
is true.
be,
That is true.
yes.
That is true. And now we're to find out the total amount on the bill. So that would be the energy charge added to the fixed rental.
Right.
So it's just a simple addition of $117,500 added to $125 to give us a grand total of $117,625,
Right.
and that is what is to be paid.
Yes, that
What
is
a
what
bill.
is. What a bill. But let us think positive. It could be commercial.
Yes, that is true. If
Yes.
it's a commercial entity, then of course it's worth it.
Right.
Yes.
Now, there is also a salary question, and it says that Janet's gross salary is $2,400 per month.
US, right? Okay.
Yes, it could be US or English pound.
Yes.
Her tax-free allowance are shown in the table below.
Yes.
So it's her national insurance, that's
It's 5%
of the gross salary.
and the personal allowances, which would be $3,000 per year.
Yes.
What are we asked to do? We are asked to calculate the gross yearly salary, her tax-free allowance, her tax payable yearly income, and 10% of the charges for the first $20,000. Right? So let's go into it, and here we have our first. Gross yearly salary, of course, it's a basic calculation, and so would have taken care of the first. It's a multiplication of 2,400 by 12 to give us $28,800.
Without any deduction.
Without the deductions.
Yes.
The tax, total tax-free allowance for the year would be
5%.
Yes,
for
yes.
her national insurance, and that amounts to $1,440 per year.
Yes.
And her personal allowance for the year, $3,000.
Yes. So the tax-free allowance that she pays no tax there would be a total of $4,440, and we just find the sum
To give us a total.
to give us the total. Okay, we can work with that. See, it's not as hard.
Right.
And the taxable yearly income.
No, so we have to take out the tax-free allowance. So
Okay.
we do a subtraction right there, and we're left with $24,360.
Yes.
Right? So you tax-free means that you're not
Paying any taxes on it. So, okay, so now the taxable would be $24,360. Now, take us through.
So it says that a 10% tax charge on the first 20,000. So we need to find 10% of 20,000, which
Yes.
is $2,000.
Yes.
And 20% charge on the portion that remains. So after we take out 20,000, we know that we're going to have 4,000 and something. So we need to find the 20% of the 4,000 and whatever is there to come up with a final taxable income for the year.
Okay, and so we have basically walked through the activity. We have basically walked through the activity. What we have done, we have seen how it is that our wages on our salaries are used to service our basic needs. And that is it. We have come to the end of our series on consumer arithmetics. Now you know how important it is for us to use math in real life situations and how to apply it.
Remember, today's lesson will be repeated on JNN at 5 p.m. and any lesson in the series you can access the video on demand feature on One Spot Media.
Tune in tomorrow for CSEC English. Until then, wash your hands regularly.
Sanitize.
Wear your mask.
And keep your distance.
Bye.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching.